Central Bank of Nigeria says credit for importation of goods dropped by 62% in the first quarter of 2024. Subsidy removal, exchange rate policies necessary, says Obasanjo. Oil prices surge as markets await key OPEC Plus meeting on output reductions. Plus Asia markets gain at the start of data-heavy week as China industrial profits rise. Happy Children's Day. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Musa Abubakar, your guide. Well, let's begin by telling you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says he will continue to take bold and courageous decisions that unlock potentials of the country for current and future generations. State House correspondent Musbaut Wahab reports that the president was speaking in Lagos at the official flag-off of the 15 trillion naira Lagos-Calabar coastal highway, which he believes will enhance the maritime economic activities in the country.
It's a symbol of hope, unity, and prosperity. It will connect communities, bring prosperity to people, create opportunity for millions.
Three legacy projects of Mr. President, they all have train tracks. Lagos Calabar has train tracks at the middle, 25 meters width. The rest of the other two have train tracks by the side, and they are all procured in 6 and way occasion demands in 10 lanes.
Nigeria recorded $204.47 million as letters of credit payments in the first quarter of 2024. According to the international payments data obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria, the figures recorded in the first quarter represents a decrease of $344.75 million or 62.7% compared to $549.22 million reported in the same quarter in 2023. A letter of credit is a written undertaking given by a bank at the request of its customer for the importation of visible goods. Such transaction obligates the bank itself to pay the exporter up to a stated amount within a prescribed time frame upon presentation of stipulated documents that conform to the terms and conditions of the documentary credit. Let's now see how much Naira is exchanging for. Now, to speak on efforts by government to recover unremitted funds, block revenue leakages and enhance revenue generation, we have the Chairman Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Muhammad Bello Shehu. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Okay, a beautiful afternoon. Well, maybe we start this conversation by you telling us or giving us an overview of the current situation regarding revenue leakages on unremitted funds in Nigeria.
Well, when the commission was formed in 1982, and then a decree of 1989, and in 1999 Constitution as amended, Section 153 of the Constitution, which makes Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission as one of the 14 constitutional bodies. The paragraph that gave us our constitutional powers was paragraph 32A to E, part 1 of the third schedule of 1999 Constitution as amended. And then our Act of 2004, one of the functions of the Commission, number 1 is to monitor the accruals to and disbursement of revenue from the Federation account. And of course, review from time to time the revenue allocation formula and principles in operations to ensure conformity with the changing realities. That means the Commission is empowered to review revenue allocation formula from time to time, advise the federal government and state governments on fiscal efficiency, a method by which revenues can be increased, and determine the remuneration appropriate for political office holders, and discharge any other functions as are conferred on the Commission by the Constitution or Act of National Assembly. So essentially, this is what is in the Constitution. And in our Act, we are required to monitor accruals from in NNPC, Nigerian Customs Services, NUPRIC, Federal Inland Revenue, Central Bank of Nigeria, and Federal Ministry of Finance. We do have competent staff that monitor revenues from any source of Nigeria. Regular monitoring of revenue records from those agencies to make sure that non-oil and oil revenues are taken to where they are supposed. Of finances from the states, the accounting, the federation, and the Minister of Finance. And we also do verification and conciliation before this fact takes place.
Okay, Mr. Mohammed Bello Shehu, what would you assess? Can you give us just a picture of what the leakages and unremitted revenues are in this country as at today? Because we've been hearing issues about leakages and unremitted revenues from banks and other, revenue generating agencies.
Well, yes, there are unremitted revenues. I mean, every Nigerian or every person that in government knows this. That's why we have this regular monitoring of what actually accrues to the Federation. Before we do have a monthly fact meeting, we will have our experts to examine their documents and take a stand. Sometimes we force them. They must agree with us because we found that they are keeping the money for too long.
How do these unremitted revenues or funds, as well as the leakages, impact on Nigeria's economy?
Well, obviously, if you don't collect enough money, taxes like withholding tax, VAT, stamp duties, crude sales, domestic sales, royalties, gas and oil royalties, PPT, rentals, etc., you are not going to have enough money that will be shared for the entire federation. That means what the federal government will get will be less, what the states and local governments will get will be less. So agencies of government are notorious, some of them, for withholding that money without remitting it to the appropriate treasury. But we are glad that since the assumption of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has directed all the revenue generating agencies and others, MDAs, that as soon as money comes in, they have to remit immediately, not to hold it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, accumulating interest. We do reconciliation, we do verification, we do follow-ups, but you can see it's a really big task We are trying to work with the National Assembly to change our act to give us more ability to train more people, build capacity, enhance workers' salary, as well as rebuild the commission to make it more efficient in line with the existing reality in Nigeria. And the National Assembly and the President seems to be on board on this. We are also proposing an automated monitoring system for real-time tracking. That means that when money is coming in, whether in FIRS or in custom services, they are not the only people that are going to have access to this information. Revenue mobilization should be able to see where the money is coming and where the money is going. And we are also engaged in interagency to make sure that they don't unnecessarily delay the remittances of these leakages. So these are some of the things that the Commission is involved in. And the 10th Assembly is taking up the issue of redoing our Act so that they can empower us to do more.
You made mention of MDAs as being culprits. How are commercial banks implicated in this issue, and what has been discovered to somehow discovered so far about their involvement so far? Okay, let me reframe the question. Let me reframe the questions. Earlier, you made mention that.
Are also
Okay, let me reframe the question. Earlier, you talked about MDAs being somehow difficult to remit their revenues and things like that. But in the public space, there's this issue of commercial banks being also involved. How are commercial banks implicated in this issue, and what has been discovered so far about their involvement?
Well, in the last exercise that the Commission did, that was in 2014, the Commission discovered excess of close to 190 billion or so figures that they were supposed to remit it to the appropriate government coffers, but they did not. And we are embarking on another exercise in collaboration with the Federal Revenue. We are meeting with them. We are trying to see that whatever they hold that's supposed to go to the Treasury, should go to the Treasury. We have all these deductions that the banks are making, and some of this they collect on behalf of the Federation, but sometimes they don't remit, and you have to look into their books to make sure that what they actually do collect is remitted on a timely basis. Banks like to play around with money because they are in the business of lending money and making interest. But the new administration is working assiduously with the revenue mobilization, the Federal Revenue, and all stakeholders in collaborating to make sure that this does not happen again, and that whatever belongs to the Federation goes to the Federation.
Okay, then you talked about improvement under this administration, and you talked about how you can collaborate with the lawmaking body to see how you can improve the situation of things. What should the public expect under your chairmanship?
Well, the public should expect that the Commission will work very hard with reposition with the new act that we are expecting to come from the National Assembly, and with the support of Mr. President and the support of the governors, because this commission is a federation commission. We are going to make it a world-class commission that will rival places like Singapore, India, and Canada, whereby monitoring of revenue will be something that will become very much known in Nigeria, so that every agency of government, every revenue generating agency will know that their duty is to collect the money not on behalf of themselves, but on behalf of the Federation so that it can be shared for national development.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Holders are on board on this. From
Okay.
the Chairman, National Planning Senate, from the
Thank you.
Chairman, National Planning, Chairman, Appropriation, Chairman, Finance Committee, Senator Sani Musa, Mr. President himself, the Executive Chairman, FIRS, Minister of Finance. If there is one legacy that this new administration is likely to leave, is the legacy of generating more revenue for national development.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairman, Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Mohammed Bello Shehu. Thank you for sharing your thought with us. This is, I don't think this is over. We would like to have you on the program so that we can, if possible, maybe you being present in the studio so that we can discuss more on issues on how to actually improve Nigeria's revenue generation and block leakages. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. I'm willing to come whenever you invite me. Thank you.
Okay. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, says achieving a delicate equilibrium between addressing macroeconomic challenges and fostering growth and resilience of the manufacturing industry is crucial for meaningful economic development. MAN's latest charge to fiscal and monetary authorities came against the background of the latest increase in the benchmark interest rate by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Director General Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Shegun Jayi Kadir, said while manufacturers acknowledge the efforts of the MPC in confronting the economic challenges facing the country, especially fluctuations in inflation and exchange rates, there is need for a delicate balancing in order not to truncate overall economic growth. CBN's Monetary Policy Committee had last week raised the monetary policy rate by 150 basis points from 24.75% to 26.25%. The MPC also opted to maintain the cash reserve ratio of deposit money banks at 45% and retain the liquidity ratio at 30%. The Nigeria Employers Consultative Association says the private sector can't meet the Nigerian Labour Congress 500,000 naira minimum wage demand this year or any time soon in light of Nigeria's economic problems. The group says the private sector remains committed to the previously proposed 57,000 naira at the tripartite committee meeting on the national minimum wage. In a statement on Sunday, NACA's Director General, Mr. Adewale Smart Oyirinde, says the private sector's proposal represents 90% increase in the national minimum wage. Oyirinde emphasized that the private sector's commitment has remained despite ongoing economic challenges, including rising interest rates, astronomical logistics costs, increase in energy tariffs, and multiple taxes, levies, as well as fees. The International Financial Corporation says Africa will need to double its spending to $6 billion annually if it hopes to connect more people and businesses to the internet. The money will be used to deploy more fiber optic cables from the sea to the cities and homes. According to Susan Lund, IFC's Vice President of Economics and Private Sector Development, the $6 billion is just the capital expenditure of building that infrastructure out. It doesn't include running and operating the infrastructure. The World Bank has committed $2.8 billion to different digital development projects in sub-Saharan Africa over the past 10 years. Let's now join Maria for Global Stocks Update.
Hello, Musa. The markets today are bullish as European stocks tick higher mid-morning trade. Traders search for direction on a quiet day for markets. UK markets are closed for the late May bank holiday, while stateside U.S. markets are short for Memorial Day. DAX appreciated 0.08%. We have the CAC reflecting that with 0.13% and FTSE going down 0.26%. Asian markets rose Monday as industrial profits in China rose during the first 4 months of the year. The Nikkei rose 0.79%. We have the Shanghai reflecting that with 1.14% and the Hang Seng Index 1.17%. U.S. markets are bearish with the Nasdaq closing Friday at a fresh record high as gains in chipmaker NVIDIA outweighed worries that the Federal Reserve will delay interest rate cuts. Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped 0.05%. We have the S&P 500 at 0.01% and the Nasdaq Composite going up 0.02%. African markets are mixed with South African JSE Top 40 jumping 0.03%. We have Tunisia's TIN Index also 0.59%. And we have Namibia going down 0.15% and Ghana was marginal. That's it from the global market. I am Maria Adozakari. Back to you, Musa.
Well, thank you, Maria. Quite a mixed reaction there. Well, I just hope that things get really better. Well, thank you very much. Now let's head to the NGX market. Let's see the summary of how stocks fared in Nigeria last week. Here's Olayinka with that report.
All-share index and market capitalization depreciated by 0.52% to close last week at 97,612.51 basis points and 55.22 trillion naira. A total turnover of 1.986 billion shares worth 40.715 billion naira in 38,487 deals were traded by investors on the floor of the exchange during the week. The financial services industry led the activity chart with 1.577 billion shares valued at 30.36 billion naira in 20,697 deals. The conglomerates industry followed with 125.34 million shares worth 1.4 billion naira in 2,283 deals, while the third place was the consumer goods industry. Trading in the top three equities were Eco Transnational Incorporated PLC, Access Holdings PLC, and United Bank for Africa PLC. A total of 5,340 units of ETPs valued at 2.350 million naira were traded in 111 deals. For bonds, a total of 82,778 units valued at 80.570 million naira were traded in 18 deals. On summary of price changes, 24 equities appreciated in price during the week, 53 equities depreciated in price, while 77 equities remained unchanged. Olayinka Ojo for Business Express.
Well, thank you, Olayinka. Well, that concludes Business Express for today. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. Business Express returns Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. I'm Musa Abubakar. Well, enjoy the rest of the day.